Okay, time for our culture slot. As it's Wednesday, I'm joined by our film critic, Lisa Nesselson. Lisa, I know that you see on average one film a day. It's a good job you have, by the way. I was wondering whether by any chance you wasted any of your youth, which wasn't that far away, I'm sure, playing video games.
No, not really. A little Pac-Man now and again, a little bit of Pong. But that won't stop me from acknowledging that the video gaming industry actually takes in more customer cash every year than the film industry does, and or from stating that I rather enjoyed the new animated feature, WreckIt Ralph.
WreckIt Ralph. That doesn't sound like it's really aimed at adults.
Well, it's absolutely suitable for children, but it turns out there are quite a few nods to grown-up sensibilities. The title character, voiced by John C. Reilly, has been the bad guy in a video game for 30 years. He destroys stuff, and the game's resilient hero, Fix-It Felix, puts everything back together. You and I might assume that those video arcade characters are just assemblages of zeros and ones, but it turns out that when the video arcade closes, the characters go home from work just like, well, people. And they have feelings and aspirations, too. Let's watch.
All clear!
Quitting time!
My name's Ralph, and I'm a bad guy.
Ah! You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? Ah! You hit a guy with glasses. That's well played.
Welcome to Game Central Station. Trains for all game destinations now boarding.
It starts to feel hard to love your job when no one else seems to like you for doing it. Hey, yo, everybody!
I'm okay.
Ralph, you are a bad guy, but this does not mean you're a bad guy.
I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
Everything changes now.
Ralph's gone to hero's duty? You game jumped?
You can't mess with the program, Ralph.
Lisa, did I see Game Central Station there on something that looked a lot, by the way, like Grand Central Station in New York?
Indeed you did. That's just one of the classy touches in what is a very traditional story, dripping with positive values for impressionable minds. And it's also kind of sassy and silly. And I find it quite amusing that top-notch Disney animators use the incredibly powerful tools of contemporary computer-generated animation to reproduce the squarish, 8-bit, visible pixel look of early video art. Computer graphics have come a long, long way since then. In fact, I think we may have a shot of what we looked like here on set. Yeah, right, about 30 years ago. that was as good as we could get.
I wanted mine. I wanted to see mine. I did. Okay, next time.
Yes.
And this is being released around the world now?
Absolutely, that's right. But it's been playing here in Paris for a while already at the Grand Rex Cinema, the Big Rex, a 2,800-seat marvel, there you see it, that is celebrating its 80th anniversary this year. And I urge you to go there whether you actually want to see WreckIt Ralph or not, because It's a holiday tradition at the Grand Rex in late November through December to preface the movie with a 15-minute water show.
A water show? Inside the movie itself? Inside the movie theater?
Inside the movie theater, yes. It's as wacky as it sounds, and they've been doing this since 1954. Just water, no humans, several story-high fountains of dancing water, there you see it, accompanied by music and a laser light show. And I swear every year I wear out my dimples grinning because it is the effect. It's just so silly, and it's so wonderful. And the Grand Rex stage, as you can see, there's the proscenium arch, can spit out a small lake's worth of water into the air and catch it again. And the highlight for me are these little jaunty splashes of water that bounce from the top balcony to the middle balcony to the stage as if they're acrobats on trampolines. It's one of the wonders of the silly world, and they only turn on the faucets this time of year.
Okay, just to make it clear, Lisa got paid to do that. Speaking of WreckIt Ralph, there's a film out today in France that also takes place in a wrecked environment, but there's no Fix-It Felix to repair the damage this time.
Indeed. Killing Them Softly stars stars Brad Pitt as a very talented hitman with a strong work ethic. He's called in by the mob to investigate the heist that took place during a high-stakes, mob-protected poker game and to kill the guilty party or parties. The book it's adapted from was set in Boston in the 1970s, but the film is set in New Orleans in 2008, in parts of town devastated by Hurricane Katrina. It was in the competition lineup at Cannes this year, and I'm not sure that's where it really belonged, but it's wry and violent, the performances are excellent, and there's a hearty subtext about how the financial crisis that began in 2008 was brought about by a better-dressed variation on the lowlife scum who live in the world of organized crime. Because when that card game I mentioned previously got robbed, the local criminal economy collapsed. Bummer. Most people get their job assignments in an office, as we know. Pitt's enforcer, named Jackie Cogan, gets his from a mob lawyer in a car. Let's watch.
They are not going to okay anything major here. What does that mean? They just want you to talk to them.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, hey!
Talk to them. Shove them around a little. Don't hurt them too badly, because they don't want them hurt.
Let's have a beer.
You ever killed anyone? They cry, they plead, they call for their mothers.
And the man comes around.
I like to kill them softly, from a distance. You come up here to do something, remember?
I don't take orders from you.
Get out of the car now!
I didn't do nothing.
Know what you gotta do, right? You know, this is a business of relationships. Don't make me less.
And the man comes around.
I'm living in America. And in America, you're on your own.
That's a chilling image. Now, things in morgues don't usually come back to life, but I believe really old movies are currently being resuscitated.
Yes, that is because from now through December 16th, the Balzac Cinema, a handsome family-run institution right off the Champs-Élysées, is hosting film historian and showman extraordinaire Serge Bromberg for 20 programs celebrating 20 years of his Retour de Flamme. Now, that's a pun about enthusiasm, and it relates to the fact that early film stock was as flammable as dynamite. No kidding, it blows up. Bromberg plays the piano while sharing rare rediscovered shorts and snippets of films, and he's so good at what he does that even though I haven't seen all 200 films from which he's assembled these programs, I can guarantee they're worthwhile with my eyes closed. Figure of speech.
So to speak. So 20 years of Retour de Flamme, 80 years of Le Grand Rex, a lot of anniversaries, a lot of birthdays this week.
And I'd like to add another one, if I may. A week from today, starting on December 12th, Notre Dame Cathedral is celebrating its 850th birthday, a celebration that will go on all year. 850 years, that's impressive. Obviously, people have been going to houses of worship for longer than they've been going to the movies, but the great movie palaces of the 1920s and 1930s were, in fact, modeled on the great European cathedrals, sometimes literally. I hope the Grand Rex is still standing 850 minus 80, 770 years from now.
You had prepared that. You don't actually count that fast. What's that old story about Quasimodo?
Oh, true story. You know, when the Hunchback got the job as bell ringer at Notre Dame, he had an unusual technique for ringing the bell. He didn't actually pull on the ropes, but he'd take a sort of flying leap and smash his head into the bell. But one day, one sad day, he got too much momentum, and sadly, he went over and went splash on the pavement. A crowd gathered, and a peasant asked, "Who is that guy?" And another peasant said, "I really don't know, but his face sure rings a bell."
And I heard that his twin took over the task of making the great bell chime, but also got carried away and also fell to his death?
That's absolutely right. And who's that? Asked the peasant. "I don't know," replied another peasant, "but his face sure rings a bell."
That's a good punchline. Thank you very much, Lisa Nesselson. That was our film critic here on France 24. We're back with world news in just a few minutes with Jeannie Gardula. Bye-bye.